On here, this is interesting. Go ahead. What are you observing?
Well, the groups who speak the same language, it's easier for them and they do everything they need to do. And the ones who speak different languages, it's difficult for them. They can't do it.
Interesting. So mixed Armenian English language building groups, it's a little more challenging? Or so it seems, just to communicate?
It's difficult for them to communicate.
That's very interesting.
They can't explain.
Like a simple word like the flat piece. How do you say flat in Armenian?
Tapak.
Darapag?
Tapak.
Darapag.
Tapak.
That's fascinating. I love this whole tennis court thing. Like, check this out. Yeah, check this out. Look there. See that?
Oh, that's really neat. Oh, what a cool effect. Have you gotten them like through the screen?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh wow.
That's kind of crazy. Alright guys, we're time.
What'd you build?
Oh my gosh. A little bit more time. Not bad.
Boat?
Cheese.
Boat?
Nice.
Actually,
What'd you submarine? What'd you all build?
I'll just put it in the same place.
here is it.
What is this?
No, it just. We don't know. It seems to be a building.
A building.
Yeah.
I got very close.
Building.
Same place it was. With your groups in the
Look
net,
how close
please.
What do you guys build?
That's really close. I'm impressed by that.
Plane?
I think it's
Flying house?
I mean, the only thing that these two great pieces are backwards, and this is just facing the wrong direction. But other than that, it's just perfect.
That's pretty impressive. Okay.
Oh.
Right.
Go ahead and sit with your.
Oh, you guys are the nice, quiet group. Oh my gosh.
We're just so proud of it.
What do you call these?
This is
What is this?
designer.
It has one eye.
It has one eye.
Cyclops goal.
There.
Cyclops Tower. Oh, we're
Cool.
Should we go over there? So just with your group. So scoot down. I want you to discuss in your groups. And then we're going to have a group share out after you've come up with some answers within your groups. I want to know what language or communication barriers did you face? I want to know what would have made your role easier. I also want to know how or why did you decide what your role would be. I'll read them one more time. What language or communication barriers did you face? What would have made your role easier? That's for everyone. And how or why did you decide what your role would be? Go ahead and talk amongst your groups for about 2 minutes, and then we'll share it as a larger group, okay?
I think we did ours the hardest. Yeah, just a little bit. Also, it would help if we figured out better the system for the blocks before.
Yeah, and I'm very good at listening and following directions.
But definitely
Okay, let's go.
I'm not. I don't know why. Because I wanted to sit down. I didn't want to get up.
It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened.
Let me see. What would have made it
Because
easier?
I made an executive.
Colors.
Yeah, we could have. Well, everybody like see it.
If I wasn't
Easier. It's easier with you.
Decided, but we found out that it worked out because we both had, like, Tessa and I were both our messengers, so, and we had Armin as a designer and Shahan as the builder. So if we had different terms, we could, you know, look at it and be like, oh, you mean this, and I could tell it to Tessa, and she'd be like, oh, you mean this, and, or, you know, but that didn't really happen. But
So it sounds like you did. What were your barriers then? The barriers were the different terms that you guys were using to describe things?
Barriers were
I got confused with where the fence was supposed to be, and then that was messed up until like a minute or two left.
yeah.
and at first with this yellow piece.
Yeah, that one.
Right, we didn't like get all like the very specifics.
But did you guys choose roles that did you want to be a builder? Did somebody want to build, or did somebody really want to be a designer? Or you just kind of.
You said you wanted to be a builder.
No, he chose designer, and we chose messenger.
I just like builders.
Overall, you guys did a great job.
We should have done it a different way.
Why did you do it that way, though? Why did you decide on the roles being that way?
Because we thought that it would be better if there was no problems between builder and messenger. But it turns out, since we could have used a visual between builder and messenger, it would have been a lot easier if when there was no visual, Messenger and Messenger could talk to each other, but we didn't think that through.
Okay. All right, it's very valid. All right. What would have made your roles easier as the? Let's hear from from designers. We'll start from this side and move this way. What would have made your role easier as a designer? Anything?
It would be better if we have more time.
Okay, more time.
Yeah, because it's very hard to imagine how you can complete these 13 Legos easily. That the builder could build yes the same.
Okay, so you needed a little bit more time to come up with the design.
Well, first of all, it wasn't that hard, but you need to have some imagination, you need to be a bit creative, and you need a faster work of messengers.
Okay. The messengers are working faster. All right. What about the designers' messengers? Would anything have made your job easier? Hi, David. Oh.
I kind of feel like it would be easier if I wasn't talking across a physical barrier. Like, you know, I was trying to draw things on like this barrier, and if we were both facing the same direction, which I probably could have done, but
You did do that by the end of it.
Yeah, but
I watched you. Yeah.
You know, I feel that, you know, we came up with almost a perfect mirror of each other, because I was drawing towards the person instead of like next to the person, which I don't know. I mean, I realized that was probably not the best idea, but like, you know, that and even it would have been easier if I was allowed to actually draw out the image, or you know, create some kind of physical representation for you know, to be relayed back to the builders.
I mean, you don't always play this or do this activity with a physical barrier in between, but because it was there, I thought it would be a useful thing, maybe more of a challenge. David's group found it more of a challenge. Yeah. Did it upset, or just like, was it a more than just a physical barrier to other people? Was that kind of another hurdle you had to overcome?
It was potentially sort of distracting.
Okay.
A little bit.
I can see that. All right, well, what about the builders' messengers? What would have made your job easier? Be honest.
Speaking the same language better. Okay. Like, it's hard, especially if you get the color wrong, or if you get, like, if we got one thing wrong, we'd have to go back and be like, okay, actually, we meant this.
Okay. Good. I did, and I
it's
intentionally...
hard to get into specifics as much.
Okay, so you couldn't do as many specifics. You brought up a great point, and Rob and I were talking about this. How many of you started with a general idea of what your designer was building? Thinking back to this morning where we were talking about generals and specifics, and how when you were doing really general things, kind of gave you an idea, and then you were able to get more specific. How many of you started it that way?
We just start building.
Do you think that would have made everybody's job easier? I'm asking. I don't know.
Like if they talked it out.
Well, if you had a general design, like I'm building a mansion.
Yeah,
I'm building a.
Yeah, that would have made.
That would have made things easier.
Okay, so we are kind of building on things that we've done from the morning into the afternoon. Okay. All right, and then lastly, builders. What would have made your job easier?
Knowing what the design was actually making.
Okay.
If we had a giant replica sitting right next to it, that would have made it easier.
Direct communication with
designers.
Telephone, because you have the person who's building on their messenger, then they're having a messenger who reports it back to my messenger, and it's like you really don't know. It's only like hearsay, kind of like you don't know exactly what's going on. You're just hearing it from other people. It's like broken telephone though, because you're like actually not building exactly what they're building.
But I think that builds up trust though, because like you trust like the other person that they're giving it to correctly.
I think the messenger tried to build a little bit, you know, because they know exactly, and they really, really wanted to build.
So that was difficult.
So they had to trust the builders.
Yeah, it's a little bit of trust in there too.